Welcome to the show.
Good morning to you, Kingsley. Young morning to our viewers out there. Always a delightful moment talking sport right here with you.
All right, we're looking at the performance of Team Nigeria in Paris, talking about the para athletes. And yesterday, Nigeria were able to get their second medal, which was in silver. What do you make of it, Esther, putting up that impressive performance yesterday in the powerlifting?
Well, for me, I think it was an impressive display from Esther Nwogo out there, especially when we are struggling since the start of this year's Paris Paralympic out there in Paris. Team Nigeria have actually struggled a lot. So you saw how our tennis players, especially, were knocked out of the competition. And tennis is one of the strong hold that we have an advantage of in the Paralympic team out there. When they with about 9 Paralympians, out of those 9, 8 were defeated 2 days ago. Just remaining only one who was able to go through, her opponent yesterday and got into the semi-final. We are hopeful that at least she's going to at least bring the gold medal home in that very one. But in all, I tell you, it has been a very big struggle for Team Nigeria, the ongoing Paralympic Games out there, which for me is quite disappointing. And for the powerlifting, I think this is another area of advantage for us. If we can make something out of there, then I still strongly believe that we can finish very high. But specifically about Esther Nwogo's performance yesterday, I think for me it was very, very incredible and very massive feat out there. She's receiving a whole lot of praises and encomium right now, starting from the sport minister John Waneno, who also have joined so many Nigerians in the praise of this Paralympian for her heroics out there. I tell you, it's a great one. Like I said, this is area where we should also take advantage, because this is our stronghold in terms of the powerlifting angle. This is where we have our own strength as well. So I'm believing that we are going to at least make this opportunity count for us going forward.
All right, let's say it goes for Team Nigeria. We hope they'll be able to grab more medals, going forward. Away from that, Uganda long-distance runner Rebecca Cheptegei was still fighting for her life yesterday after being set on fire by a Kenyan man just weeks after taking part in the Paris Olympics. The 32-year-old athlete is being treated in the More Teaching Referral Hospital in Kenya, Rift Valley city of Eldoret, after Sunday's attack. Cheptegei sustained burns to 80% of her body. The hospital acting CEO Owen Manek told reporters this week, saying everything was being done to save her life. Police said a man identified as Dixon Ndema had dosed Cheptegei with a petrol and set her alight at her home in N base in the western country of Trans-Nzoia. There was no official medical updates from the hospital yesterday. Now, top Kenyan Sport Ministry official Peter Tom has said yesterday that the Ugandan and the Kenyan government were both involved in her care. Cheptegei took part in the women's marathon at the Paris Games on August 11, placing 44th. The assault on Cheptegei comes 2 years after Kenyan-born athlete Damaris Mutua was found dead in Eton, a world-famous running hub in the Rift Valley. Latest figures by the Kenyan National Bureau of Statistics published in January 2023 found that 34% of women in the country have experienced physical violence since the age of 15. Michael, what do you make of this situation? Not a very good one at all.
Very disappointing news coming in from Kenya, especially their athletes. I don't know what seems to be the problem. Either Kenya or Uganda, each time you keep hearing that their athlete has been attacked or some has been killed. I don't know the reason behind that, but taking a look at the statistics from the Kenyan Bureau of Statistics, the rate start at 15% of their male athletes or male being attacked out there, and I don't know what seems to be the reason. Maybe in a few days time we'll get to also get a confessionary statement of the attacker, who also doused her with that petroleum. The action or the intent was to set her ablaze. She nearly died. They are trying to see if they can be able to revive her back to life as it is. She's in a very critical condition because I had to go through some of the Kenyan dailies this morning, their sport page out there. They say the situation is very critical, and the doctor have not yet released an official statement on the health condition of that athlete. I think for me it's a quite disturbing one, very worrisome, and I think that the police should also do their own investigation proper so that they get to know the reason for this incessant attacks on female, and especially for athletes out there. There must be a motive behind this, because before someone could just stay at you, go get a petroleum to come and set you ablaze, what could have propelled such a heinous and evil intent? So these are things that police authority need to also put their nose on the ground as well, to also find out what seems to be the cause and find a possible way in order to solve this this very issue and make it be more like a permanent one, so that at least their female and the athletes out there will have a breeding ground, so that they don't go about worrying themselves anytime they are going out there in the street or even in your own house, because some of the attackers have also met their maybe more their prey in their house as well. So we begin to wonder what could be the reason for this. So I think for me, quite disappointing and disheartening. I feel that the authorities should do everything possible to bring the excellence to book.
All right, so let's see how it goes. Keep our fingers crossed and continue to monitor how things, of course, unfold down there. But away from that, Jack Draper's Jack Draper represented breakout run at the US Open reached the new height as the Brighton fought his way past Alex de Minaur to reach a first Grand Slam semi-final. The 32-year-old showed all of his youthful talents along with grit and determination to win 6-3, 7-5, 6-2. He received treatment for a leg problem early in the second set, while Australian 10 seed de Minaur seemed hampered by injury issues of his own. But Draper, playing his first match on the famous Otto Asher Stadium, was by far the better player, as he became the first British man to reach the last four in New York since Andy Murray title win in 2012. Michael, what do you make of it? Jack Draper putting up that feat once again for the British tennis players.
A statement of intent from Jack Draper out there. I think for me, he's been long coming. I hope to see him at least make this.
It's been a long time we saw a British player at this stage.
Yes, very, very long time ago. It's about 18 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So for me, I think it's a very good one for the British, players out there. I think he's trying to revive back his his name and make it become popular once more, because many times his fans out there always expect the best and hope that at least Jack Draper is going to hit his peak, but then he never. Starting from last season, he has lost his form. He will nowhere to be found in some of the major Grand Slam of the year, down to this last Grand Slam of the year. Let's hope that at least he can actually make a positive impact and possibly get to the final to give the British tennis fans something to cheer home about.
Of course, we look forward to see how it is. Still talking about tennis this morning. World number one, Jannik Sinner beats former champion Daniil Medvedev in a topsy-turvy US Open match to set up a semi-final against Jack Draper. Italy's Sinner was a 6-2, 1-6, 6-1, 6-4 winner over the Russian fifth seed in New York. Michael, Jannik Sinner still pushing through.
Still pushing through despite the the setback and challenges. Coming up to this last Grand Slam of the year at the US Open, he was engrossed with failing doping tests twice, which so many tennis players actually took to the social media, to the media as well, to lambast the authority for not wielding the big stick against Jannik Sinner. Some term it as favoritism, some term it as whatever name, but then they were not happy for the fact that this player actually defaulted, taking a banned substance that is not good for the fair competition of the game. But then he was allowed off the hook. He was only fined, and some money some money was deducted, and some point as well was deducted from him. So taking a look at this coming to the US Open, one thought maybe psychologically he would be weighed down by so many criticism out there from present and even former players. We thought maybe that is going to weigh him down. But then I think he has surmounted that pressure, that criticism from different quarters, and he was able to stay strong and get to this stage. I tell you, even if he gets to be knocked out this time around, yeah, you will say that, yes, he has given a good account of himself. Looking at there's so many criticism coming from left, right, and center, you know, for him failing dope test twice. So for me, I think it's a big one for him. Let's hope that at least he can make this one count. After winning the early Grand Slam of the year, talking about the French Open, yeah. And okay, if he makes this one count, I think it's going to be a big, you know, leap.
That's the Australian Open.
Australian Open, rather. If you get to win this US Open again, then it's a statement of intent, and he further cement himself as even the world #1. The points will even be more higher compared to what is leading Novak Djokovic right now.
All right, let's see how it goes for the man. But do you think this is Jannik Sinner's title? Because Sinner and Medvedev were the two top players, of course, remaining at the moment. But now he's true. He's going to play against Draper, of course. On paper, you definitely give it up to Jannik Sinner in that encounter. And the other semi-final, we have the likes of Francis Tiafoe and Taylor Fritz. So if you take a look at it, he's the big name remaining in the last four. Is it Jannik Sinner's title?
It's a big question, but for me, I think big name sometimes doesn't even really matter. We saw how the big name, talking about Novak Djokovic, was hosted out of the, you know, some games in the past. Even the defending champion this year has been hosted out in the male category as well, both male and female category. These are big names. They've all been knocked out of the competition, you know. So for me, it doesn't, you know, matter whether you're a big name or not. We still have other good players still left in the round of 4. And like you mentioned, we still have Taylor Fritz. On a good day, Taylor Fritz could be a very dangerous opponent, a very difficult player to handle on the court. Talking about Tiafoe as well, very good player. On a very good day, he can also, you know, spring some surprises out there. You know, so for me, I can't actually give it to him directly, you know, because of the fact that he is a big name. But I still strongly believe that he has what it takes to at least, you know, possibly get to the final. But winning it is another big question that you need to answer and prove that on the court for us to see.
Let's see how it goes. Let's quickly move down to the female category now, as we've seen Jessica Pegula. She stunned world #1 Iga Swiatek at the US Open to secure her place in the long-awaited first Grand Slam semi-final. American Pegula had lost her past 6 major quarterfinals, but she overwhelmed Polish top seed Swiatek 6-2, 6-4 in New York. She will face Karolina Muchova today for a place in the final after the Czech beat Beatrice Hademir 6-1, 6-4 in that particular one. Michael, the Americans are not playing at all in the male category. Francis Tiafoe, Taylor Fritz, you know, putting up that American semi-final down there, and now Jessica Pegula also coming up as well in the female category, beating world #1 Iga Swiatek. What do you make of the progress of Jessica Pegula and the Americans? What are they up to this time?
Well, they are up to change the narrative after so many years of them taking, you know, backseat in terms of the ATP or even the WTA. I think it's been a while we saw an American making headway in a big stage such as this. So for me, I think they are beginning to rediscover their mojo. And again, buoyed by the fact that they are playing at home, more like a homecoming, more like homeboys and girls coming home out there. So we expect a whole lot of support from different quarters out there. If you've actually been following some of the live game out there, you can see the court very filled with you know, the Americans cheering their own to victory. So for me, I think it's a big one for them. Let's hope that they can take full advantage of the fact that they are playing at home and possibly win the male and the female category. It's going to be a very massive you know, victory for them, especially now that they are playing at home and the fans is behind them. I tell you, it's a great opportunity for them. They can be able to maximize, you know, and make use of the good support from the home crowd out there. It's going to be a good one for them. But for Iga Swiatek, I think for Iga Swiatek losing this one, am I surprised? No, not surprised, because she has actually been very active so far this season. She has been taking part in almost all the major competitions as well in her bid to maintain that #1 ranking. And you know, she's also human. Sometimes you need to at least, take her time to rest. Maybe fatigue have set in. Like I said, she has been very, very active so far this season, playing one competition or the other. At this point, getting to even this point, I think I must also give her some kudos because of what she has achieved. Don't also forget that, she has maintained the #1 ranking for a quite long time right now. It clearly tells you how active she has been on the court. And for me, I think I'm not disappointed that Iga Swiatek was knocked out because, like I said, fatigue setting, and sometimes she need to also take a rest, maybe a break or some sort, to at least regain back that energy. And I think that is the reason why she actually lost that one.
All right, talking about Jessica Pegula pushing through, Arina Sabalenka sent an ominous message to her rival as she demolished Zhang Qinwen to set up a U.S. Open semi-final against Emma Navarro. World number 2 Sabalenka claimed a statement 6-1, 6-2 victory against Olympic champion and 7th seed Zhang. That came after American Navarro recovered from a 5-1 second set deficit to beat Spain Paula Badoza at 6-2, 7-5 in the front of a partisan New York crowd. All right, let's start away from tennis as we, of course, move straight to the Super Eagles camp in New York. Michael, Super Eagles camp, of course, bubbling at the moment as we hear 22 players are in camp. Kelechi Iheanacho arrived yesterday. Maduka Okoye also arrived yesterday. And Victor Osimhen is expected in camp today.
Yeah, I think it's been very great, starting from Monday when 11 players actually arrived at camp, and then on Tuesday we saw about 17 to 18 players also hitting the camp. Yesterday being Wednesday, we saw about 20 players or 22 thereabout also hitting the camp, making the total numbers at this morning from what we are getting from our man on ground out there to 22 players. I think the only player left to be seen in the camp is Victor Osimhen, who stayed back at Turkey to finalize his deal with Galatasaray, which for me I think is a good one. And he'll be hitting camp possibly today anytime as we speak. I think it's been very, very good. The feelings and the practice session has been very good for me. I watched their training session yesterday at the Nest of Champions. I tell you, there's a whole lot of understanding among the players and even the coaching crew as well, which for me could prove very vital, towards also boosting the morale of the player in going to deliver on the mandate, which is giving us all 3 points with convincing, football come Saturday, 7th of September.
Let's see how it goes. But what do you make of it? Talking about the ticket fee for the game this weekend, we understand that VIP tickets will go for 3,000 naira each, and for regular, 1,000 naira each.